Yeah, I definitely want to. Okay. Tri-City Sports Now. I'm Marky Billson, along with Knockahoma Nation's Josh Brown. That's a great podcast. Now tell everybody where you can find Knockahoma Nation. It really is an enjoyable listen. Like I said, I like to listen to it when I'm cooking dinner or breakfast or what have you. Tell us where we can find. Is it Knockahoma Nation?
Yeah, so we're on pretty much all the podcast apps. So iTunes, Castbox, Stitcher, Google Play. So any podcast app you use, or you can go to knockahomanation.com.
Oh, there you go, knockahomanation.com. And you and Ken Hendricks, who's also been a guest on this show. Now, let me ask this. What are you saying about Max Fried going on the disabled list? Lefty pitcher, and it seems like that's been... I thought that could possibly hurt the Braves. Certainly didn't help them last night. But what was your thought on that loss, him going on the 10-day injured list with a left index finger blister?
I don't think much of it. I think it's just 10 days, so I think he'll be back, and I think he'll be fine. There's some chatter on Twitter about shutting him down or preserving him, for the potential postseason. But I don't think they're
for a blister.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine. He'll be fine. He's got great hair too. So
I'm not big on that. Shut the pitcher down. I mean, that's like I buy a Ferrari and I don't drive it. I'm not big on that.
And no, not at all. There's a school of thought out there that likes those sorts of things, and I'm like you. Let them pitch. They're getting paid handsomely. If they get injured, then you're getting paid handsomely to play the game. So just pitch.
Where does Ender Inciarte fit in your opinion?
My goodness, I think that if the Braves are, going to make a potential trade with, Bumgarner or Marcus Stroman or somebody like that, to me it makes sense to include Ender in one of those deals, just because long term next year he doesn't really fit on the Braves because you got Christian Pache, you got Drew Waters, right? And I think that Ender is valuable. I think he's still good, better than, he's had a bad year, obviously, but I think he's still good. But I don't know. Is he a late inning bench guy? Maybe. But oftentimes in baseball, those guys have power, and he doesn't have power, right? And well, let's just be honest. Nobody wants to talk about it, but Austin Riley's slumping, and I don't know how long that's going to last. And he's probably just figuring things out and getting adjusted. So.
Now, I'll just say this. Over the weekend, I know Riley came up with a big hit, but, it would seem to me that that's not so much bench Riley, but rest Riley. Then that Inciarte gives you that option.
You know what I would consider, and this is probably why I'm not the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, but this is crazy, but I think Josh Donaldson is fantastic, and he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. I would consider listening to offers for Austin Riley.
Okay. No, I know where you're going with that. I don't know if I agree with you, but I know where you're going. Continue.
I don't even know if I agree with it. I don't know. I would consider it. I would entertain offers. I would think about extending Josh Donaldson. I would think about listening to very serious, good offers for Austin Riley, because you got Christian Pache and Drew Waters coming up. And I'm not a talent evaluator. That's above my pay grade. But I think definitely Christian Pache is going to be fantastic, and Drew Waters is going to be very good. So what do you do with the outfield? You know what I mean? I think Nick Markakis is going to probably go, even though, let's be honest, we all know he's my favorite. But I think he's probably going to go, or
he's the veteran. Yeah, that's the time now. Yeah, you know.
So it's a weird situation, and then how does Ender fit into all that? I don't know. I don't think Ender has a long-term place on the Atlanta Braves, and I think that they entertain offers with him included. Yeah.
So
but I could be wrong.
We're looking at that.
I'm usually wrong.
We're talking to Josh Brown of Knockahoma Nation. and talking about the first place Atlanta Braves, who, even if they were to be swept, and it didn't get off to a good start for them yesterday, but even if they were swept by the Nats, would still have a 2.5-game lead on the division. It's Patrick Corbin, the lefty, 7-5 for the Nats, going against always the opening day starter, Julio Teheran, kind of a misleading, I think, 5-6 record tonight. 371 earned run average for him, and that's why I think it's misleading, because that's not the worst ERA in the world. I do want to ask you, as we talk about, should the Braves pick up another pitcher, another player, that sort of thing. The players that I see them talk about in so many deals are farmhands Bryce Wilson and Kyle Wright, who recently the Braves have been yo-yoing from Gwinnett and back and all that. Who's the one that you would really hate to lose between Wilson and Wright?
Probably Kyle Wright. Yeah, I think his pedigree, it sounds kind of cheesy, but I think pedigree's a real thing. When guys are drafted number one, they, at least in recent years, end up being very good. I think Kyle Wright's going to be the better pitcher long term, but I do like Bryce Wilson for sure. My wife thinks Bryce Wilson's cute, so I wouldn't mind seeing him go.
Well, the thing is, Wright has not done that well in 4 starts, but then again, it's 4 starts. I mean,
I think
let's.
it's going to be good. I really think that. I really do. And I think Wilson's going to be good, but I think Wright's going to be better. And for me, I would much rather see a guy like Bryce Wilson go than Kyle Wright for sure. But Kyle Wright was such a prettier pitcher, I think, in a deal. So I don't know.
Well, would not be us talking about baseball and the pennant race in the National League East between the Braves and all comers. Now it's the Nationals, but if we didn't in some way make fun of the Phillies. Now, we've been sort of hinting on that. Hey, the Nats are better without Bryce Harper. And yeah, I can see that. Generally speaking, you're better off when the 249 hitters leave your team. Come to think of that, And, of course, Gabe Kapler is crazy. I think that we can, safely say that. But I did see where this week he benched a player for not hustling. This after a month in which he berated a sports talk show host for not calling out Romundo for not hustling. And that actually resulted in a play that got Andrew McCutchen injured. Now, I ask this because I want to ask you this. I think that we can safely say that in the NL East, both Kepler and Mickey Callaway are on the hot seat. Possibly Dave Martinez if the Nationals don't get back in the race, but let's hold off from there. And you just don't know what the Marlins are doing. I mean, they just go through the motions, so they may not care who their manager is, to be brutally honest with you. But who do you think? I mean, what's your gut tell you? Who's going to get the axe first, Callaway or Kapler?
I would put money on Callaway just because New York is a little more savage than Philly. The Philly is crazy for sure, but
they don't vomit on each other in New York.
That's true. I don't know. I think Mickey Callaway. I could be wrong, but I think they both get canned, but I think Mickey Callaway goes first. And Gabe Kapler needs to be canned just for going to the spray tan.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be allowed to manage a Major League Baseball if you go to the spray tan. That's what I think.
It's Randy the Ram Robinson now in the Phillies, making out the lineup card with the spray tan. Sure, no. Couldn't get the time in the tanning room and such, but that's now I'm not debating on what you say. I just think that Callaway may be, and it's just come out, the general manager's puppet, and if he, survived, threatening a writer for just saying, "Hey, I'll see you tomorrow," if that's what ticked them off, I just don't understand, and
By
it's,
the way,
yeah.
By the way, I loved that. I love that. The day after that happened, I was listening to MLB Network Radio, and the way they were covering it is so 2019. They were just talking about it, how it was just a disgrace to the game and so sad and so disappointing, I mean, our culture's just gone totally soft because, 10, 20 years ago, they would just report it. They might even, laugh about it, but now it's just, we got to be careful with our words, Marky.
Yeah, well,
Can't offend anybody.
let me ask, what did you think of Steve Forbes and I?
Oh my gosh, I didn't listen.
You weren't familiar with, okay, the press conference. I asked basically Steve Forbes if he had played Mladen Armas, who's a basketball player at ETSU, with a concussion. And he snapped at me, but he didn't deny it. So that was the deal there, which I think shows, he was on the show the next day, and all that. And every now and then I'll get on Twitter, hey, what Steve Forbes says hi or something like that. And I said, well, I really exposed him, didn't I? That's, you got to, it's a nature of the business. I remember once being a play-by-play announcer and having a manager, I didn't think a very good one, but scream at me because I asked him why he took his pitcher out in the ninth inning with one out and a tie game. And I thought it was the pitch count. And then the bullpen allows 6 runs and blows the ball game. Now, I presumed it was the pitch count, but you have to ask the question. And instead he decided that he was going to scream at me and have my job and all that for asking a legitimate baseball question. You can understand why this guy is no longer in baseball anymore.
Yeah, the good ones would answer that question.
Yeah.
The real man.
Yeah, no, to tell you the truth, a sports writer friend of mine from Pittsburgh, Paul Zeiss, and I, he once talked about, he asked basically the same question of Clint Hurdle, the Pirates manager, once, and he says, I'm not criticizing you. He said, I didn't think you were. And I said, that's that's why Clint Hurdle is managing the major leagues, and this manager was in the independent minors. That's why,
Hey, speaking of the Pirates, are you going this weekend?
I may. The 79 World Championship team honored tomorrow. I'm planning on going. So there you go. Okay, I'll leave you at that. I want to go down to SunTrust Park. Heck, and all this. Come on, that's my Southern team right there, the Braves, right? And all this. Okay, he's got a great podcast. It's Josh Brown, Knockahoma Nation. I'm Marky Billson. Remember, SoCon John Hooper won't be with us on Monday, but we will have a lot of surprises. And on Tuesday, he'll report from the Southern Conference Media Days. Jerry Bonkowski will join me, however.